Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective, a sanctuary for stories, truth, and transformation. I'm Lucy Ibarra. I am your host, and each week I sit down with women and others who are redefining what it means to grow, to heal, to speak up, and to take up space. This is a celebration of the messy, the magical, the bold, and the becoming. Here, no one is too loud, too sensitive, too ambitious, or too much. Because in this collective, your voice is your power, and your wisdom is worth sharing. Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective podcast. I am Lucy Ibarra. I am your host, and I am excited like always. I know I say it on every episode. Today, I am being accompanied by an amazing woman. Super excited to be aligned with a soul sister and just an incredible voice for our community out there, Mandi Rose. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we're about to have a party.
Yeah, we are. So Mandi works with Tony Robbins, and I saw her at an event recently that my company held, and I was blown away by everything she had to say, just based on how aligned I felt with her. I nodded my head yes the entire time, I feel like, and it was just one of those moments where you feel very intrigued. I am so grateful to speak with her, and I would love for her to introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about her.
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank you again for having me. For those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Mandi Rose. I'm an entrepreneur, an artist, a creator, a business owner, and I'm one of 5 national trainers that has the privilege to work for Mr. Tony Robbins.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a girl with a loud voice who uses it to change the world.
Yes. And it's a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Loved everything you had to say.
Thank you so much.
Immediately, I told you I was so aligned based on what I am creating with this community of Her Wisdom Collective.
Yeah.
And you spoke to both men and women that day.
I did. I love to.
Yes. And everybody was just taken aback by what you had to say. And I love what you share, because I feel that so many times we set excuses or we live in victim mentality, and it's just what we allow ourselves to believe.
Patterns.
100%. 100%. And I think once we step out of that space,
Totally.
wow, the things that we can do, right?
Man, it's like breaking chains.
Yes, absolutely.
Literal.
So I love that you were sharing that with the group. And, I want to talk a little bit to begin
Okay.
about where you're at right now as far as what your position is with Tony, how it is that you're showing up in the world.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into some other beautiful, juicy questions that I have for you.
Okay. So right now I'm one of 5 national trainers. I'm actually the only female speaker. And Tony sends all of us around the country throughout the year to canvas for his UPW, which stands for Unleash the Power Within. It's his #1 most transformational event. It's touched thousands, if not millions of lives already. And it's phenomenal. It's a 3 or 4 day experience, very immersive. You would think, you go to seminars. I've been to so many seminars. I've been to see anything you can think of self-help wise. And when I went to Tony's event, I was like, this is where everybody gets their sauce from. Their source is Tony Robbins. So yeah, I just canvas for those events. My impact is very great because I get to go and speak to people like you and build relationships, and sometimes help somebody that's sitting in the crowd and is on the verge of a breakdown or the verge of depression or suicidal thoughts, or something very challenging is going on in their life and they just need a voice of reason. And so I get to use my voice every single day to lead people to the voice that changed my life, which is Tony.
Right.
So it's a full circle moment. It's a privilege and an honor, and I don't take it for granted. It's a blessing. And it's also my ministry, because it's not a religious conversation that we're having at all. And I'm actually not religious. I'm just a firm believer in Jesus Christ. But I get to remind people to believe in themselves more, to go after their goals, to live up to their fullest potential, to be positive and solution focused and resourceful. And those are all things that our Creator wants us to be our best. So it's such a blessing. when I applied, I didn't think that I would even get a moment to, introduce myself, let alone have an audition or an interview. But when they called me, I knew that this was going to be what I did. Like, I was like, oh, you guys made the mistake of letting me in through the door. Like, you're going to pick me, you're going to love me, and I'm going to dominate this.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm really excited. It's a really fun ride. How did I get there? Belief, faith, intention, alignment.
And that's actually one of the things I want to touch on.
Yeah.
I loved your conviction when we spoke about faith. I am in that space, and I've spoken about this on other episodes, that when you talk about faith, you can't live in fear. And you have to be so rooted in it, because if you're not rooted in that faith, you are truly not believing in your creator and in your higher power. So when
Talk about it.
Yes, girl, when you align with it, when you align with it and you truly believe, I'm in this place. When you say I have faith, are you really in a place of faith?
Yes.
Or are you lying to yourself?
Right.
And when that happens, it's what you said. When you walked in that door, you said, this is mine. This is mine. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I will be the one woman out of the 5 trainers on Tony's team. They're going to guide my community of people out there. So I love that you're speaking on that. Let me ask you, where does that faith come from? Like, and like you said, I'm not talking as far as, I think people will say, maybe they're not in a particular faith or religion, right? And that's it. Whatever connection you have with your higher power, that's yours.
Yeah. Totally.
Where do you feel, when you talk about your faith, where do you feel that you're so grounded or rooted in it that there's no question? You have no question. You have no doubt. You have faith in the unseen. Talk to me about that.
So I was actually born and raised Catholic. My grandparents were phenomenal in terms of consistency with their faith. They rooted their entire life around the Lord and hoped all of us would live and breathe and die by that word. And when you're younger, you don't appreciate it as much as when you get older and you start to think about having your own family and what you can actually portray to the world and show up as an example. And so I went through my sacraments, my first Holy Communion. I got my confirmation as an adult in an all-women's Catholic university. And I did all of that for my grandfather because he wanted me to be so rooted in faith, and I respected him, and he was my hero. So I'm like, what he says, even if I don't think it's right, I'm going to follow it because he has the life and the love that I was after. So fast forward to my dad dying. My dad died when I was 19. I completely turned my back on my faith. God isn't real. If God was real, why would he put me through a series of unfortunate events? I've had such a hard life and then take my dad away right when I had the opportunity to get close to him. My parents were split up my entire life, so I used to wait until I turned 18. Like, oh, I can't wait because you can't tell me anything. I'm going to be with my dad. So him dying at 19 had like such a just impact on my life negatively for a moment. It was like a good year of me going to the church at my school and crying and writing in this book about just like how I didn't believe anymore and how I was angry and how I didn't see the point in the faith. And then I met a young girl who I coached for years who let me know her father had died before she was born. There was another young girl that I coached whose whole family had died in a fire. And she was so young. And I was 19 when I lost my dad, which is still young, but I was a young woman. These were young kids. So I stopped feeling sorry for myself. And Tony says, he goes, you can't be addicted to your sad story. And I was like, dang, I'm addicted to my sad story. I'm addicted to you leaving. I'm addicted to this feeling of missing you and longing for you. And to bring that all back to the faith, when I heard that, I was like, how selfish of me to look at this the wrong way. Because when you change the way you look at certain things, what you look at begins to change around you. So I started telling people I had the best dad for 19 years. Yes. I was so privileged. I was so, so happy to have a father that loved me and cared for me and cherished me and treated me like a princess. But I lost him early. But it taught me to be so strong that I lost the most important person in my life. What do you think's going to shake me?
Right. At this point, throw anything at me.
Throw it all.
Yeah.
And I'm not actually asking God, hey, give me all these bad things, but
Right.
it's like I'm prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a freaking warrior.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could get up from this moment of my lack of faith and my lack of understanding. It knocked me down to a very low point where I didn't want to even be around my family. I didn't want to be around my family. I'd drive in my car. I'd park on a random street. I'd listen to sad music. I'd listen to voicemails, and I'd cry because my faith was so low. I was like, how can you do this to me? And so fast forward, I started to get back in the Word. I started to hear other people speak on the Lord very, very lightly, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm on fire for my Creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not angry. I'm very grateful. And it sucks that things happened the way that they did, but it taught me so much. And it really did happen for me and not to me, which is something
Yes.
that Tony teaches. And I live in my truth that everything is happening for me and not to me. So I got baptized. I got saved last year in the summer. I went through a very challenging year. And when I had all of these blessings coming at the same time as the challenges, I took it as an attack. And I was like, I'm going to fight back.
Mm.
And I'm going to loudly and proudly declare my faith and my belief in following that word. And so I'm not perfect. I am most definitely working on being better every day. But I am a huge believer in faith. And I just had a conversation with someone yesterday. And I said to them, the most fun part about my job and the most challenging part about my job is that I have to live by what I teach.
Yes.
So if I'm telling everybody to get to peak performance in their health, I'm in the gym. If I'm telling everybody to have better relationships, I'm nurturing mine. I'm working on my career. I'm working on my personal growth. I'm working on my faith, on being able to tithe and give back and become a humanitarian and a philanthropist and all the things Tony does.
Yes.
My faith is so large that even when bad stuff happens to me, my friends trip out because they're like, you're not mad? And I'm like, I'm frustrated for sure. But this is teaching me something.
Absolutely. What's the lesson?
What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? And I
Yeah.
think when you shift that thought process,
Yeah.
it's
beautiful.
100%.
Oh,
I have a great friend that I tell her, not that I'm calling on the bad things, but
yeah.
I feel so blessed that when those things do happen, I lost my mother-in-law last year,
I'm so
and
sorry.
I'm so blessed to have been holding her hand when she passed. And I think to myself, my daughter was asking me the other day, what was your favorite part of, this last year as we were enjoying my birthday dinner? And I told her, she's thinking, oh, the book or the podcast, or, she's thinking these big moments. And I said, holding Gloria's hand while she passed away. Because I know that everything that has happened in my life prepared me for that moment.
Yeah.
And in sobriety, I lost both of my parents, and, a glass of wine or a drink was my coping mechanism, right? So I think when we understand that, we realize the gifts in those hard moments and the lesson, like you said. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think that people see you and what you're sharing, and they think, well, she has this great life. She works with Tony Robbins, and she's been, at a radio station, and she's been doing all these big things in life.
Yeah. She must have it all.
Yeah, she has it easy.
Totally.
Let's talk a little bit about your childhood, because that was beautiful to me to see how you have flourished in life, considering you had all odds against you, so to speak. Some people have walked that same path that you did and didn't, there's a fork in the road, and they treated it very differently than you did. So let's talk a little bit about your childhood and where you feel that everything could have been questionable as far as where you were going to be headed in life.
Yeah. So my parents, I'll just start by saying my parents are phenomenal people. They just had difficulties. I think life was very different back then. And so it was really easy to slip into addiction. And so both of my parents, as long as I've been on this earth, have had some form of addiction. Whether it was a substance abuse addiction, alcohol addiction, they were struggling. And when I was 1 and I was 4, my dad was in and out of incarceration for a very small things, but he always had, as long as I knew my father till the day that he died, he always had warrants for his arrest. I was always afraid when we were in the car of like getting pulled over. My parents split when I was really young. My mom tried to fend for herself and take care of us, needed some support, so ended up with my grandparents in Montebello, which is where I grew up. My grandparents were a godsend. They were phenomenal people. They showered me with love, very faith-driven home, very traditional Hispanic family. I mean, we sat together every night and ate dinner. They would pick me up from school if my mom wasn't around or she was working. They were great. They were amazing. And our house was beautiful. I had a pool in my backyard. Definitely not, like once I got to 4th grade, I had like stability. But before that, in my early childhood, I was very poor. In and out of random people's houses, in and out of the foster system. There was a lot of abuse going on, verbal mainly, to some of, my siblings' physical. And it was very challenging to not understand why we had less. I would be picked up from school last. I would go pick out clothes from the lost and found and pretend they were mine. I would get cans out of the trash at gas stations in the middle of the night. We were on EBT, Section 8. Like, it was confusing. So I had these great grades as a kid, but I would act out a lot. I had a big heart, but I also had a lot of like feelings that I didn't understand. And so I ended up with the wrong crowd for a long time, but I've always been like really nice. I feel like the environment I was in made me kind of be put into survival mode. I grew up in a environment where everybody was Hispanic and I was half Hispanic, and everybody made me feel less Hispanic because only my mom was Mexican. My dad was white, so I was the white girl. So I was always getting picked on, and so there was like this identity crisis really young. And that led me to a lot of fights. And I got beat up a couple times, and then I figured out what was going on, and then nobody really wanted to mess with me because I was beating people up for messing with me, for pushing on me and trying to pick on me. And then once I got old enough, like high school, I really was just academic focused. I was sport focused. I was good at everything. Like, I made any team that I tried out for. I was captain of anything that I really loved. I would win league champion in certain sports like track and field. I was a superstar. And it's because my parents, although they were addicts and they had a lot of shortcomings, they believed in me and they uplifted me. And I got over it. And I forgave them. And it took a little while, but like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's certain things that I'm like, ooh, probably not good to like repeat that. But like, I wouldn't trade it for the world because it taught me hunger and it taught me survival mode is not something I wanted to be in. So I was willing to do the work to get out of it. At 16, bought my first car. By 18, I bought a nicer car. Like, I had a job 3 days before I turned 16. And I didn't even have a work permit. I would work until 11 p.m. at night. And I had all A's and B's. Like, I was a good kid.
Right.
But early on, it was very unfair.
Right.
But like, little tiny violin, like, who doesn't have that?
We all have a story.
Everybody has a story. And if you don't, your parents got it together and you lived privilege, sometimes those kids end up more messed up than the ones that go through the hard stuff.
Right.
Because there's two paths, like you said. Is it the path that I see and it's familiar and it's comfortable and it's what everybody's doing, the drug path, the alcohol path, the lazy path, the government assistance path? Or is it that I want to work my ass off and do something different and become somebody that my family's never seen that can break these generational curses?
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned forgiveness, which is exactly what I wanted to talk about. So it's perfect segue to that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about forgiveness. Let's talk about, I think people talk about forgiveness and it's just a random thing that's thrown out there. Cliche, right?
Yeah.
But
I truly forgive.
Yes, I think that when you really get to the bottom of it and you go inward and you forgive.
Yeah.
Forgive, right? How does forgiveness touch your life even today?
Yeah. Well, I think the most important thing to think about when you're talking about forgiveness is that it's for you and not somebody else. So if you do me wrong in any way, form, or fashion, and I'm hurt by it, I'm walking around pissed off, thinking about it, repeating the story, asking for advice, reflecting, crying, journaling, going on a tangent on social media, whatever people do these days when they're angry. Maybe even violence. And I'm now affecting my world, my stress levels, my energy, my time by not forgiving you. So when you forgive someone, sometimes you think, oh, that person doesn't deserve forgiveness. But you need to forgive people in order to release that chain. You don't have to forget it or welcome them back or accept it, but you have to forgive them and let it go. I have such a big heart that I can forgive you and move forward because I'm not perfect. And one day, my sin will darken who I am. And I hope somebody is kind enough to forgive me.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's like they say, holding on to that anger is like holding poison.
Like holding poison and drinking it.
Yes. Yes.
And drinking it and re-drinking it.
Right.
And then being upset at somebody else and nothing's happening to them.
No. They're moving on with their life. They're not thinking about that situation, but you're holding on to it. And that's a chain. Those are chains that are holding you back from moving forward.
It hurts.
Right.
To hold all of that, it like weighs you down. It like anchors you to the bottom of the ocean where you feel heavy and you feel dark and you feel angry and you're just spiraling. And my time can be invested into other things. I'm not perfect. I don't expect anybody to be perfect. I do demand respect. However, if somebody slips up and they're willing to take accountability and change, I'm going to give them that chance.
I love that.
I'm going to give them the chance.
And that's beautiful that you truly live that in integrity.
Seriously.
So let's go into talking a little bit about, I know that you get to show up as this person, this forgiving person, this loving person, because there are non-negotiables in your life.
Yeah.
If we don't have some sort of non-negotiables that we are going to abide by every day, that can be something that suffers as far as the forgiveness and how we show up in life and for ourselves. So let's talk about your non-negotiables. What do those look like?
Man, there's a list. You ready?
I'm ready.
Respect. Treating people how you would want to be treated. So that's like the golden rule. Kindness, laughter, fun, adventure. Adventure is like a non-negotiable. I have to have it. And that doesn't mean like specifically like I'm jumping out of a plane. Like adventure in my life, trying something that's challenging, growth, honesty, forgiveness, love, compassion. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Impact.
Yeah.
Non-negotiables.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that when we're walking this path of living our lives, I think that we have to be so clear on what those non-negotiables are.
Your core values.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because we can't be in a place of, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
No, this is unshakable. I'm not moving from here.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful that those are your non-negotiables, all things that I'm very aligned with. So I loved hearing that from you. And let me ask you, where did you realize that you were different? Where do you feel like you had a breakthrough moment where the fork in the road, right?
Yeah. So I believe that there are like different types of moments like that. There's good and bad. The good, when I think I was like 19, 20, I was working at Power 106 and I entered a competition at our rivalry station, which was 92.3, which was Big Boy's neighborhood. Big Boy used to be the host on Power 106. So I would always follow him on social media and I seen he posted real show opener and it was a contest. And at that time I was making music heavily and very focused on it. All through college, I made music consistently, put out albums, put out singles. I still do use my voice to help people in that way. So anyway, I entered this competition and I won it. And I didn't even try to win it. And I got to open for like J. Cole and so many other huge name artists, Cardi B, G-Eazy, at the time, my favorite artists. And so I get this call, I win this competition. I have a backstage room at the Forum, which fits like 20,000 people. And I'm the opening act.
Wow.
And I got on stage and the first thing that I thought was like, this is what I'm made for. Like I'm made to have a microphone in my hand, whether I'm singing or I'm speaking, and speak to a mass amount of people so that I can help them.
Wow.
That's all I thought.
Wow.
And that was one of those moments.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
For sure.
And look at what you're doing now, you know, obviously. And I feel like there's so much purpose in how you're doing it now. So let me ask you, what makes you excited about life right now?
What makes me excited about life is I genuinely know, it's not even that I think or I hope, I know that my career will become as big, if not bigger, than Tony's.
Mm.
I know that my power and potential to innovate and replicate a lot of the things that he's done when he is gone one day, or maybe even while he's still here, as a woman is like, it's a non-negotiable, like it's gonna happen.
Yes.
So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be able to help so many women, so many people, so many businesses, and I just know it's inevitable, and I'm excited.
Wow. I love that. I got
Yeah.
chills. And I know it too.
Yeah.
It's that faith.
Yeah.
It's that inner
It's
knowing.
unwavering.
Yes.
It's unwavering. Like, even when I go into something and I might fail, I go into it thinking I'm going to win.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I had auditioned for like America's Got Talent, American Idol, all these shows, these singing shows way back in the day, like 2016, 17, 18, 19. And I would make it to like the final round and then I'd get cut. But it was crazy because I, like, at that time, I didn't have that belief. I'm like, if I went now, like,
Oh, it's over.
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah. Wow.
But, you know, got our hands in a lot of buckets, so I'm going to focus over here.
We need you here right now.
Yeah, the people need the voice.
Yes, absolutely.
Seriously.
So touching on that, let's talk about victim mentality, because you're obviously, despite everything you've been through, you're out of that victim mentality. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about here and with the spaces created for women, because I think so many of us have the story like we talked about. And I have seen women in my lineage who unfortunately left this earth with that victim mentality.
Yeah.
And there's so much responsibility that we have in speaking our truths so that despite everything that we've been through or our stories, we're evidence of God working through us and removing that victim mentality.
Yeah.
So let me hear about that. How is that non-existent for you, or where did you have to work through that, or was it ever there for you?
For me, I had to work through it by being around a lot of people that constantly talked about their past. And, you know, I'm not somebody that wants to dwell on that. Like, your past only equals your future. If we sit there and we're constantly talking about it, we're constantly reliving it. That's why people who have trauma, they live with the trauma for so long, because they retell their traumatic story over and over and over. Your story is your glory, and they say your test becomes your testimony. So I'm not saying you shouldn't speak your truth, but to live in it, it's just not for me. I don't have time for it. I want to move forward. When you're driving a car, you're not looking through the rear view mirror when you're trying to go forward. You're looking forward. So I look forward at the present and the future. And, you know, whenever I'm trying to learn something, I'll look back. But I just don't find fun in being around people who constantly feel sorry about them for themselves, complain, talk about problems. Like, that's draining. It's draining, and I don't want to be around it. There's a little bit of like a savageness to me when I speak, and it's not because I'm insensitive or not empathetic or even sympathetic. I am just a boss. And when you're a boss, you boss up or you get bossed around. We don't have time to sit around and dwell in the problem. It's wasting time. Tony says we're supposed to focus on the problem 20% and the solution's 80%. And most people dwell in the problem 100%. So, okay, we lived through it. It sucked. It hurt us. We learned from it. What are we going to do about it? If we're going to just live there, then you can count me out. I don't want to hang out.
Right. And it is proven that when you are living in that space, you can't get out of it. You want to stay there, and you are attracting that.
Like,
you are attracting that. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about law of attraction.
Yeah.
It can go both ways.
Yeah.
So how does law of attraction work in your life?
Yeah. So anything that comes after the word I am is my destiny. It's what I'm proclaiming. So if I walked in here and I said, I am energized, then I'm energized. If I walked in here and said, I'm tired, and then I'm tired. So if you change the story that you're telling yourself, you can change the state that you're in. And it's so important that you understand that I understood, this is something I had to get into my brain, is that you attract what you are, not what you believe you are. So I can pretend to be something and fake it until I make it. But there's a very big difference between fake and acting as if, stepping into somebody who you're becoming and pretending to be somebody you're not. I understood. I was like, in order for me to attract great people, a great partner, great friends, I got to be that. It's the golden rule. We'll go back to it. Anything that you put out, you get back. So if I want love, I have to give love. If I want respect, I got to give respect.
Right.
And when you're constantly thinking of all of the negative, you're attracting the negative because your mind is a magnet. It's literally a magnet saying, world, this is what I'm thinking of. Bring me that. So what are we thinking of? What are we aiming towards?
Right.
I've just heard too many stories of people who have become massively successful. And I've seen interviews and you study them and you ask them, what did you do? And they go, I believed in myself and I worked really hard. I wrote myself a check so I could visualize it. I drove around so I could dream build. It's not science. Success leaves clues.
Yes.
Find me one person that's become massively successful by putting themselves down and thinking that they couldn't do it and being a pessimistic, grumpy person.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk on that. Let's talk about self-talk. I hear people and in my close vicinity, right, where I'm fat, I'm, I
self-deprecation,
look ugly, wow, and I feel a lot of the times those are conditioning beliefs.
They are.
Where, let's talk about conditioning beliefs.
Yeah.
There's conditioning beliefs and then there are limiting beliefs.
Totally.
Let's talk about both.
You're conditioning yourself every single day whenever you're compounding something over time. So if every day you take 10,000 steps, you're conditioning your body to be made for that. Every single day you tell yourself you're stupid 10,000 times, 10 times, you're conditioning your mind to believe it. I don't condition myself to be anything besides great. So when I say something that's not great and that's not affirming something positive, I correct myself.
Yes.
So I'll say something like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. And then I will go, I'm actually really smart. And even when people joke with me and they're like laughing, like, ha ha ha, you're stupid. I'll say, I'm actually really smart. And it's a joke, but it's like a serious thing because I'm telling my subconscious, this is what we are.
Yes.
We are smart. We are going to make it. We are calm.
Yes.
Limiting myself, it's just, I hate even talking about it.
Yes.
I hate even training on it. But people limit themselves more than they empower themselves. And limiting yourself is something that you want to do if you want to stop yourself from achieving your goals.
Right.
You want to stop yourself from winning. Limit yourself. Just put a bunch of limitations on yourself. What is a limitation? It's something that holds us back. Something that pushes us back.
Right.
Doesn't propel us forward, a limitation. If I tell you there's limitations to what you can do, that means there's certain things you can't do.
Right.
But we can do the impossible. We can achieve anything. So why put limitations on myself? I think limitations are for people that don't believe in themselves and want to stay comfortable and want excuses.
Yes.
If you're limiting yourself, it's because you don't believe that you can do it. So you're saying, hey, I don't believe in myself, so I'm not going to tap into my potential. I'm not going to take action. I don't want the result. I'd rather limit myself and stay here and comfortable and tell myself I can't, I shouldn't, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not young enough, old enough, tall enough.
Right. Right.
You think Kobe Bryant ever limited himself?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think you ever thought I'm a little too short to be here?
Right. And that's the thing. I think that people do not adopt that mentality of,
because they haven't been taught.
100%. 100%. And
I can't blame
people,
them.
even people that have been taught.
Yeah.
How many people go to conferences? I mean, I've seen Tony. I've been blessed enough to see Tony about 4 times.
Wow.
And my husband will tell me that as soon as I come back, I'm just like a tornado, of excitement and action. And a lot of people who go to those events don't implement.
No. It's interesting, right?
100%.
That you would dedicate your time to sitting anywhere and listening and learning and then not implement. Why would you spend that time?
Yes.
Time is the most valuable resource that we have, and we spend it so silly. It's interesting.
Yes. We can get, we spend money, we spend...
But you can't get your time
energy,
back.
Absolutely.
And you don't know how much you have left.
Yes.
And I believe if you're ordinary people, they just try to figure out how to spend time. How can I spend my time right now? But great people think, how can I use my time? And every question that you've asked me has relayed back to the fact that I want to use my time to be the best. I don't have time to dwell on not being the best, being poor, being sad, being broke. I already lived there.
Yes.
I already spent time there. I saw it. I'm good. I saw it.
No, thank you.
No thanks. I want to spend my time over there in Dreamville.
Yes.
In the land of the believers, in the land of the achievers, of the people that go after what they want and they go after it tenaciously. And they do it with just the belief that this is going to work. And if not, I'm going to try again and again and again, relentlessly until I make it happen for myself.
Yes. Let's talk about affirmations.
Yeah.
I love affirmations.
I love affirmations.
I love talking to myself and being my best hype woman in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I know when I first started doing all of this, my husband is amazing because he has had to evolve with me, and he will tell you that. He's going to be going with me to
UPW.
Yes, in Miami. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Heck yeah.
And that's obviously a sign of his evolution, right? He's seen me go to mortgage conferences.
And alignment.
Yes, absolutely. And that is, just hearing you say that excites me because I know that we're both in our 50s, you know, and not a lot of people who are older are
excited
or willing to change.
Right.
You know, they stay stagnant or resistant to change.
Yeah.
And I know that him and I, and we've talked about this, we have a responsibility to do this because we have grandchildren and children that are watching.
Yes.
And my grandbaby, my grandbaby comes up when, you know, one of my grandsons comes over and Snoop Dogg has an affirmation song for kids.
Isn't that so awesome?
Amazing. We do it together and he already knows. He already knows. Do you want to hear
He's like,
Snoop?
I'm great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smart or something like that. I saw that. I was like, heck yeah.
It's amazing. So I was never taught anything like that. Are you kidding? Like, I was talking to myself, who are you talking to? You know? So it's a legacy, absolutely. So let's talk about affirmations and how we're conditioning ourselves. If somebody else doesn't do it for us, how we can do it for ourselves.
Yeah. So the saying, the power of life and death is in the tongue, is one that I live by. And so affirmations are so important because if I want power, I can speak and believe and think power and then take action on it. When I say things like I'm strong and I'm winning and I'm top producer and I'm aligned and I'm blessed and I'm grateful, it's very hard to feel feelings of like fear and anger, which are the two feelings that hold people back the most. I love how you mentioned Snoop Dogg because right away when you said, let's talk about affirmations, I was just thinking, I literally love music that makes me feel like big.
Yes.
Like I love listening to songs like Sia. She has a song called Unstoppable.
Love it.
And she says, I'm unstoppable, I'm a force, something, right? And you're listening to these songs and you're hearing people say like, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I'm the strongest, I've got the most wealth. And you hear it and you're like, yes, this makes me feel good.
Right.
So if we know that that makes us feel good and it makes us feel, first of all, our endorphins are like on fire. Like everything's moving, our state is higher, our stress levels are lower, we're smiling, which automatically puts you in a better mood. So if we know that that happens through music, why not be intentional with it and say the things that you really, truly want? So when I was broke, this was, like 2018, 2017, I found a money affirmation audio by Bob Proctor on YouTube. Ooh. And I listened to this audio for 2 years while I slept in repeat. My mom thought I was like hypnotized. And I was trying to hypnotize myself to be rich.
Right.
And so I put this on and he says, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. And then the music plays and then he says it again. And so you start to hear it over and over. And I would start to go to restaurants. And what I used to do is I would look at the check and I'd be like, oh my gosh, why did I spend this much? And I'd have all these regrets. And then after I would listen to that audio, I started to look at the bill and go, wow, it was worth every penny. I'm so grateful that I was able to eat at this beautiful restaurant and be served and money comes back to me abundantly. And it did.
Yes.
And it did. And it just shocked me because I was like, this really works when you work it. So I wake up and I, every day, look at myself in the mirror and say, you are great. When I'm in a stressful situation, I say things, I take deep breaths. I go, you're all right. You're good. I'm going through tattoo removal right now. It hurts like hell. While they're doing it, I'm like, this is great. And it's funny. And the lady always laughs. She goes, "You're the most positive person that comes in here." And I'm like, well, telling myself it hurts really bad isn't going to make it any better.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got this.
Yeah. Yes.
I can do this. It's easy.
Right.
It's painful, but you're like, we're good.
Yes.
We're going to be okay.
And you know the result at the end of that is going to be what you're working
I'm looking
towards.
for.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very important on something that you just said right now as far as the affirmations, the music.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what people are watching and listening to
Totally.
and how I think there's this lack of understanding.
Yeah.
We don't just nourish our body with food.
Nope.
We nourish our body with what we listen to. We nourish our body with what we watch.
Who you're around.
Yes, absolutely. And, our sleep is so important. Recovery is so important.
Yeah.
And some of these things prevent us from sleeping, keep us up at night, stress us out. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? The Netflix, shows and the songs that contradict what we're looking for as women in a relationship, as women looking for abundance. Let's talk about all that.
It's very important that you guard your heart. And so guarding your heart means guarding what goes in through your ears, into your eyes, and what environments you place yourself in. And I think that in 2026, we've become so used to seeing some of the content that we see, some of the tragedies that we see, the way that we see it, that it takes away our ability to be and feel human. And it's just important to guard that. And, I have a rule. Some things you can't control, like when you're in an environment where they're playing music and you might not align with it. So I just try to put as much good in as maybe bad, or if not more.
Yes.
Because it happens. Right. You're at a party or you're out somewhere and you hear something and you're like, dang, this is not the best thing to be, in my headphones right now or to be in front of. But if you can offset it with the good, you'll be all right. I think it's really just being able to know when things are not good and when things are bad, and to just be discerning. I have coaches for this reason. I have mentors for this reason. I don't allow too many voices in my ear. So I really just focus on, okay, who has the success that I want? Who has the morals and the values and the moral compass that I'm looking to follow? And I follow that person. And I allow myself and my coachability index to be high in listening to that person. But I think it's very important that you have discernment because the internet is tricky.
Yes.
So I actually curate an environment when I go on social media that is uplifting and teaches me something. I mute the accounts or unfollow the accounts that distract me and deter me from getting things done. And I favorite the accounts that make me feel like I'm getting something.
Right.
They say there's a study that shows that we are most susceptible at the end of the night to scrolling on our phone because we're looking for a time of freedom, because the whole day went by you and you felt like you didn't get time for yourself. So you take out your phone and you start scrolling and you start to feel like you're getting time for yourself. So I curate that time very, very, very precisely. I don't want to watch, the Desperate Housewives of this or reality TV shows, or I'm living in my own reality. So I have to put things in front of me that are going to curate an experience of this is worth my time because I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm changing and I'm developing through this content. Not all content is bad.
Right. Right.
So it's important that you curate an environment when you do get on social media that is uplifting and teaching you something.
Beautiful.
That's the way I look at things.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That leads me into boundaries.
Yeah.
Let's talk about boundaries, just like what we watch, what we listen to. Let's talk about boundaries with the people around us. It can be the environment that you work at.
Yeah.
It can be family.
Right.
It can be friends that maybe want to live in that victim mentality, and we're, we can't save everybody, right?
Totally.
How do you protect your boundaries?
I protect my boundaries by stating them. You can't defy what I'm putting clear as day in front of you, at least not intentionally, I hope. When you don't know my boundaries, if you cross them, I can forgive you because you don't know them. But once I let you know this is my boundary, please do not cross this boundary. If you decide to continuously do that, then I have to get rid of you because these are my boundaries.
Right.
And if your standards aren't high, your relationship quality will be low. So you have to have high standards. I have a very high standard for people in my life being respectful and being kind to me. If you intentionally hurt me in any way, or if you intentionally are trying to hurt other people in any way, then that's a boundary that I have to state, like, look, you can't cross over this line and still be in my life.
Right.
So it's really just about being mature enough to state them. I think most people need to work on communication. When you are yelling, that's not communicating. And so I can communicate very well. I can be very fair. But I also can be a little bit ruthless if somebody is just like not caring about what is important to me. That goes back to the golden rule. If you want disrespect, you got to give disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that anybody wants to return, but you also have to protect yourself and you have to stand up for yourself. And I say it anytime anybody tries to pick on me. I'm like, if I don't stand up for myself, who will?
Right. We are our biggest advocates.
I have to.
Yes. So where do you feel, if you can think of a time where you realized, oh, that's a boundary, or I need to set that boundary?
Yeah.
Because many of us won't figure it out until we're older.
Yeah.
You know, I think my daughter was my biggest teacher in boundaries, where she set a big one with me, and I was like, what is it? She's my daughter. You know, almost like, I think parents, sometimes we feel like our children are possessions as opposed to they're adults and they have their
relationships
own thing.
too.
100%, right? So where do you feel like maybe that was something that was clear as day for you, that you realized what a boundary was or how you had to step into that?
So I'm half Italian, half Mexican.
Oh, boy, there we go.
So my family loves to talk.
Yes.
Chisme. And a boundary of mine with my family and my friends is to respect what I tell them in privacy and not publicly blast that out to my family or anybody else besides me, because I'm the person that told it to you. And my boundary is you making me feel like this is a safe place for us to have a conversation and it not go beyond like the game telephone. And that's a boundary that I have in every relationship that I'm in, is that I am a safe place. I don't take people's information and go and spread it around like I'm on KTLA 5. I'm somebody that is very much so mindful of the things that you want to keep private. And so I expect the same. Another boundary that I have is people being kind. Like, I'm just not somebody that will allow you to be rude to my waitress or the guy that's begging for $1 on the side of the road or to the CEO of the company. I don't deal with unprofessional people that can't handle themselves and be respectful, even when you agree to disagree with someone. I met someone yesterday who said he loved somebody that I don't agree with at all. And that didn't allow me to start being rude to him or make me rather be rude to him, but to just say, hey, you know, we agree to disagree. And a boundary is kindness, compassion. Like, those are things that are really important to me. But yeah, I learned really young, like, a big boundary is like, don't go and like spread information that you were told in private to people, and especially when it can like hurt people.
100%.
You know, or you're doing it with like a ruthless nature where you're trying to be, you know, anything but nice.
Right. And it can be done very innocently, but that's still a broken boundary.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's like when we were in middle school and then someone would call you and be like, what do you think of Susie? And then you'd be like, oh, I don't really like her. And then Susie's on the other line. She's like, what? Like that's something that we used to actually do. And I'm like, listen, boundaries, like friends, don't do that to me. Like, that's not cool, because you're trying to pry information out of someone to start a problem.
Right.
I think a big thing in 2026 that's really important is being around people that can fill up your cup as much as you fill up theirs. Like, you can go out to dinner with a group of people, and because they think that you have more money, they think like it should just fall on you. Or you could have people that are around you constantly that want to take as you're a giver and not want to put in their fair share. And that's a boundary for me now that I'm older, is that the more money that I made, the more I saw that there were handouts. And I don't mind helping people that are in need, but when it becomes a consistent thing and then you're ignoring me because you owe me money, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, or
that's
expected.
A boundary. Yeah, it's expected. So when people ask me to borrow money, like, you have to be very, very close to me in my life for me to be willing to say yes, because I've seen it mess up my relationships, and I was the giver.
Right.
So that's a boundary that I don't cross anymore. Money and friends, money and family, like, I don't like to do that.
Yes, and it's huge that when we pour into somebody that we feel like we're being poured into as well.
Yeah.
Because there are
Like, meet me in the middle.
Right. Yes.
Just pick up for you and I'll pick up for me, and we can like look out for each other.
Yes.
So important.
Yeah. Call me. I'll call you. Text me. I'll text you. We'll check in on each other. If you're going through something, I want to be here, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. That is definitely a great boundary.
Great boundary
to keep and stay truthful and authentic too. So Mandi, we are coming to the end of our time together, and I'm so grateful. And just for this space, because we are going to spend so much more time together. But tell my audience where they can find you. Where can they find Mandi Rose, and what are you up to these days?
Man, what am I not up to is an easier question to answer if we're looking at time. You know, like I mentioned, I'm a national trainer for Tony Robbins. So I'm running and gunning, doing like 1 to 3 events a day, virtual, in person. I have an insurance license, so I sell insurance very low key.
Okay.
I have a real estate license, so I do luxury leases in Los Angeles and in Beverly Hills, which is really fun. I get to see some of the most beautiful houses and put people in there for like music videos and short stays and stuff like that. So that's awesome. I make music, so I'm working on some music with a friend. So that's really exciting. And you can find me, you know, just every single day working on making this place a better place, this world a better place.
I love that. I love that. So social media, anything that you would
want? My social media handle on every channel is @official Mandi Rose with an I in Mandi.
Okay.
And if you want to listen to my music, everything's @Mandi Rose Music. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, you can look up Mandi Rose. I mean, you can find me with a quick Google search. You'll find me.
Yes, amazing. So tell everybody about, just to finish it off, tell everybody about Miami.
Yeah, great. That's a great way to finish it off.
Yes.
So the #1 most transformational event on the planet, Unleash Your Power Within, which is led by none other than Tony Robbins, Mr. #1 and everything that he does in business coaching, personal coaching, success coaching, #1 New York's best time selling author. I mean, he's a phenomenal person, a humanitarian philanthropist, husband, a motivator, whatever you know him for. He's phenomenal at it. He has an event in Miami, November 5th through the 8th in person. We also have a virtual event that's happening in March, the 12th through the 15th. And so you can go attend this event, get the same transformation and experience that we got.
Yes.
And be able to, you know, take everything to the next level. Get yourself to peak performance, get yourself to be the best, most productive version of you this year, and have lasting change. Get rid of the limiting beliefs, stop being addicted to your sad story, and get personal coaching from the best coach in the world, my coach.
Yes, amazing.
Come with me.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing.
Yes. I will be there.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
I'm super excited. My husband and I will both be there. This year, we are definitely dedicating to more personal growth in union. I've worked on it for years, and neither one of us wants to leave the other behind. We want to grow together and flourish.
Yeah.
And we're so excited that we're going to do it. I will more than likely be attending the one in March. But yeah, let's grow together. Whoever wants to go, I would love to see you out there. And I'm so excited for my time with you, Mandi.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
you know what I tell all the ladies that are single?
Let's hear it.
I tell them, get a VIP ticket to Tony Robbins and go find you a man that wants to develop himself. Find you a man that invests in his personal growth.
Yes.
I saw something online the other day. It says, what's the sexiest part of a man? It said frontal lobe, fully developed. And I was cracking up because I'm like, that is sexy.
That is.
You know, a man that can really focus on being focused and being disciplined and being the best version of himself. And of course, the men that are watching this, you know, find yourself a young lady that is focused on growth and development and being the best version of herself.
Yes.
You know, and if you're already in a relationship, just go and make the network connections.
Yes. Yes. Or take your partner with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And grow together.
You know, I will tell you, that was something to close out that I heard from every couple that went there. They said, we have never felt more close. We have never felt more aligned and just more in sync than after this event. So it's a great partner building experience. I'm so excited for you to get that.
Yes,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
I really
Mandi.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's been so much fun.
Yes. And thank all of you, like always, for joining me. I am so grateful for the growth of the community here at Her Wisdom Collective. I'm so grateful for this journey. I am grateful to be an instrument of God to give you so many amazing gold nuggets. And just thank you for holding space here online so that we can show up for you. I will see you on the next podcast episode and hoping you have a blessed week. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and share. Stay tuned for future Her Wisdom Collective episodes and for future Her Wisdom Collective events. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support and look forward to the next one.